Hi everyone, in today's video we are going to be doing half a face of drugstore makeup and half a face of high-end makeup. If you have visited my channel before, you will know that I really do try and bring you the best of the drugstore and the best of the high-end, and I really try to have a balance of the two. I thought it would be interesting to do one half of my face in drugstore and the other half in high-end and see which performs the best. But before we get stuck in, can you tell right now which side is high-end and which side is drugstore? Let me know down in the comments what you think, and then let me know whether or not you got it right. Okay, so if comparing drugstore and high-end makeup sounds like something that you might be interested in, then please do keep on watching. So I actually just filmed the first part of the video and then realised that my microphone wasn't on. But at least I only did my brows, but I have filmed it, so I am going to insert that footage for you in a second. But just to let you know which way we are doing our makeup today. So on this side, we are doing the drugstore, and on this side, we are going to do the high-end luxury side. So on the drugstore side, we are using the Maybelline brow pen. This is a pen and a gel in one. The brow pen retails for about £12. This is a really nice pen. It is very pigmented, but gives you really nice natural looking eyebrows. And then on the high end side, I am using my Glossier brow flick in the shade black. The Glossier retails for about £18, and just doing the exact same thing, just filling in the eyebrows from the top and just creating really small hair strokes. Then on the drugstore side, I'm going in with my Maybelline Express Brow Pencil. This is the ultra slim version. The brow pencil retails for about £7 or £8, and I am just filling in any gaps. On the high-end side, I have gone in with my Benefit My Precisely Brow Detailer, the Microfine pencil. The Benefit Brow Pencil retails for £22, just to do the exact same thing and fill in and make the eyebrows a little bit more full. And to set them in place, I've used the e.l.f. Brow Laminating Gel on the drugstore side, which retails for about £8. And on the high-end side, I've set them with the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter, and that retails for about £26. I think both sides look good. I actually prefer the side of the drugstore simply because Benefit Brow Setter, it makes my eyebrows just a little bit too shiny, but I actually don't think you can tell the difference massively between the two of them. I love a glowy primer, so today we're going in with the Rimmel Multitasker Better Than Filters. Just gives you a really subtle glow. So I have this in the shade Light. So I'm just going to pop it just a little bit on my forehead and on my cheeks. I'm going to go in with Angie Hot and Flashy brush, BK Beauty, the A101. I'm just going to pat that into the skin. So this retails anywhere between £10 and £13. You know, when it comes to drugstore, prices can really vary. And on the high-end side, I'm going in with my trusty Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter. I have this in the shade for medium. So there is a huge price difference with this one. This retails for about £40. So on this side, I'm going in with my BK Beauty 101 foundation brush, and I'm just going to pat that in. So there's the Rimmel side. There's the Charlotte Tilbury side. Don't know if there's much of a difference. I'm going to prep my eyelids now, and I'm going to prep the drugstore side with the e.l.f. Lock It Down eyeshadow primer, and on the high-end side, I'm going to prep with the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. The e.l.f. retails for £6 and the Urban Decay is £20. So I did spend some time thinking about what eyeshadow to use and trying to find an eyeshadow that was very, very similar. So I have two glittery eyeshadows. So we have the e.l.f. Finest Fleck Glitter Eyeshadow, and I'm going to be using the shade Champagne Showers. And this retails for £6. And then I have the Urban Decay Space Cowboy, the Moondust, and this retails for £20. So that is Champagne Showers, and then on the other side we will go in with Space Cowboy. So I think they have similarities for sure. On the e.l.f. side, I think that it has a bit more of a base to it, so a little bit more pigment, whereas I feel like the Urban Decay is a little bit more peachy, and I think it's a little bit more wet looking. This is just a lot more subtle. I would be more inclined to use the Urban Decay as more of a topper, whereas I feel like I would go out with just that on my eyelid, and I'd be quite happy with that. So I am going to pop a little bit of colour into the crease, just a tiny little amount. So on the Drugstore side, I'm going in with the Wet n Wild Always Naked palette, and I'm just taking just a little bit of this shade. This palette retails for about £6. Just want to deepen it up ever so slightly. And then I'm going to go in with my Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette and pick a very similar shade, which is this shade here. And I'm going to clean off the same brush actually, which is the Zoeva 228 Luxe Crease brush. Now obviously the I Need a Warm retails for a lot more than the Wet n Wild. It retails for about £60, is it? Could be more. I'm just taking my Sigma winged liner brush and I'm just going into the darkest shade, and I'm just going to pop a little bit on the lash line, and I'm going to do the same with the Natasha Denona palette. Okay, so mascara wise on the Drugstore side, I'm going in with this, the Essence Lash Without Limits in the shade Black. This is such a good mascara, and it only retails for about £3. I've had this mascara for a while now, and I will tell you, it's the best Essence mascara that I've ever used. So it gives volume, it gives length, but most importantly, it doesn't flake or smudge during the day. It's so long lasting and so incredibly easy to remove. I love it. On the high end side, we are going in with the Lisa Eldridge Kitten Lash Mascara, and this retails for a lot more than the Essence. It retails for £29. The Lisa Eldridge is a really lovely mascara too, but I don't think you can tell that I have a luxury mascara on this side and a Drugstore on this side. I don't think you can see my lashes very well in this room with this camera. So I am going to insert some daylight footage in a little while, and you'll be able to see the difference. That is so interesting. I will do my bottom lashes in a little while. We're going in with Colour Corrector now, and on the Drugstore side, I'm going in with the NYX Colour Corrector palette, which retails for about £10. And on the high end, I'm going in with a Bobbi Brown corrector stick in the shade Peach, which retails for about £29. So I'll go in with this shade down here, and you only need the tiniest amount of this. And then on this side with the Bobbi Brown. So concealer wise, on the Drugstore side, I'm going in with the NYX Bear With Me Serum Concealer in the shade Beige. This retails for about £10 to £13 depending on where you buy it. And on the high-end luxury side, I'm going in with the Hourglass Vanish Concealer. Now this is brand new to me. I am probably going to do a dedicated video on this because I've been asked so many times my opinion on this. So I have not properly used this yet, and I have this in the shade Beech. So let's do the Drugstore first. Featured this lots of times on my channel if you want to see swatches and an in-depth review. So I'm going in with my Travel Angie Hot and Flashy Concealer brush. Pat it in under the eyes. Such a nice concealer, and you need barely anything. I'd call this a medium to full coverage. So again, this is in the shade Beech. And I'm just going to, I've heard that this is super full coverage. And I'm going in with my Angie Hot and Flashy A506. I'm just going to tap that in. I can put a little bit more on. It's always a good idea to go steady. done a really good job. Ooh, we'll see how it performs during the day. Okay, so that's how we're looking so far. So Drugstore on this side and high end. Let's get into foundation. So I've been trying my best to find two foundations that I think are similar at the Drugstore and high end. So I've decided to pick the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Dewy Foundation, which is one of my all-time favorites at the Drugstore for the Drugstore side. And on the other end, I'm going to use a very popular high-end foundation. This is the Luminous Silk from Armani, and I know so many people want to see this, and I have never really enjoyed this. I've tried it so many times. However, I think I have been through troubling times with my skin, and I did wear this the other week and it actually looked really nice. So I am going to pop them on side by side because I think they have a similar finish, and we'll see if we notice much of a difference. So the Wet n Wild retails for £6, whereas the Armani retails for about £46. So I have the Wet n Wild in this shade Classic Beige and the Luminous Silk in the shade 5.75. So I'm just taking the brush that I used for the primer on the Drugstore side. I'll just tap it in. So this is the Wet n Wild. So there's the Wet n Wild. And now for the Luminous Silk, I'm going in with my BK Beauty from before. All right, so this is the Armani side. And this is the Wet n Wild. I think there is a slight shade difference. I think the Armani is slightly darker. But what do you think in regards to the finish? Let's see. Both very luminous foundations. Both give a good medium coverage. I think the Luminous Silk maybe looks just a little bit smoother than the Wet n Wild. Yeah, it does. Which is surprising because I never found the Luminous Silk to be smooth. That was interesting. Let's move on to contour. So on the contour side, I'm going in with the new e.l.f. bronzer contour, but I am going to be using a separate bronzer. So this retails for about £7. On the high-end side, I'm going in with the Westman Atelier contour, which retails for about £44. One is a cream, one is a liquid. So they are going to be a little bit different, but I'm only using the tiniest amount using my e.l.f. Duo contour brush and just tapping that in. Very, very subtle. That was in the shade Light Medium. The Westman Atelier in the shade Biscuit, and just using my Angie Hot and Flashy A507. Yeah, I mean, that is, you cannot beat the Westman Atelier contour. It's stunning, and it's much nicer than the e.l.f. I mean, there's just no contest really when it comes to the contour, genuinely. I actually think that the e.l.f. looks patchy in comparison to the Westman Atelier. I'm not using contour anywhere else because I don't want to overdo it, but I'm going in with bronzer now. So on the Drugstore side, I'm going in with the Essence Baby Got Bronze in the shade Cinnamon Spice. This retails for about £2 or £3, if you can believe that. And on the high-end side, I'm going in with the Rare Beauty bronzing stick in the shade Always Sunny, which retails for about £25. So I'm just going to use the same brushes that I used for the contour. This Essence stick, it's really good little bronzing stick and gives you a very natural finish, but the fragrance is really overpowering, like too overpowering in a way. I don't know what it smells like. It smells like watermelon. I don't know what that fragrance is, but it's strong. Okay, but it goes on really natural. And we'll pop a bit up here. Just where the sun would hit. We don't have any sun left here in Ireland, so we have to fake it. So then with the bronzing stick, love this stick. It's so creamy, and as you can see, it's a lot more pigmented and it's very, very warm. Yeah, I mean, there's no real contest there, is there? with the pigment and how creamy it is, the Rare Beauty is much more effortless. Okay, so that's the high-end side and that's the drugstore side. I feel like this is coming together complexion-wise a little bit better. It was actually hard finding a blush that was the same shade. Okay, that was my biggest struggle, and one that has a similar formula. So I have gone with 2 liquid blushes. So for the drugstore side, I've gone with the Morphe Blush Drops, and this is in the shade That Girl, and this retails for about £14, so it is fairly expensive. However, in comparison to the high-end side, it's not expensive. So this is the Armani Luminous Silk Cheek Tint, and this retails for about £36. And so in the Morphe you get 15ml, and in the Armani you get 12ml. So you get a lot more with the drugstore side. We'll just give the Morphe a shake. This is a very, very sheer blush, so I'm just patting it in. This is my Rare Beauty blush brush. So that's nice and pretty. I really enjoy that. Now I'm going to go in with this Armani. Now it is a different colour, but I'm hoping that when they're blended out, they're going to look similar. This is in the shade Delicate Mauve. Yeah, so they're not too dissimilar, are they? Thank goodness. I love this Armani blush. I love how buildable it is. It's just beautiful. So this is the drugstore side, and this is the high-end side. Are they looking similar? Yeah, tell me down in the comments. I'm just going to finish off my lower lash line, and I'll be back in a little minute. Before we do lips, I'm going to go in with some powder. So on the drugstore side, I'm actually going to go in with this, which is the Catrice Invisible Matte Loose Powder. And this retails for about £4. So this is just a translucent powder. Really, really finely milled. Like, really finely milled. So I'm just going to powder under the eyes. And just around the nose. And just here. And on the high end, I'm going in with my Givenchy loose powder, the Prisme Libre, and this retails for £52, which is a lot of money. For lips, I have found the most amazing dupe for one of my favourite MAC lipsticks. So this is the MAC Sleek Satin Lipstick, the Maximal, and this is in the shade Sitting Pretty. And this retails for £25. I have the Rimmel Lasting Finish Lipstick in the shade Asia. And honestly, they are so incredibly similar. The only difference is this is £25 and this is about £5. So this is Sitting Pretty and this is Asia. Now, they're not identical, but when they are on the lips, oh my gosh, they look like the same lipstick. Let me show you. So this is Rimmel in the shade Asia. And on this side, we have MAC Sitting Pretty. See that? They literally look like the same lipstick. What? I love both of these. The one thing I don't like about the Rimmel is the same thing I never like about the Rimmel lipsticks, and that's the really strong fragrance from it. But I love the MAC fragrance. I love the vanilla fragrance. I just think it's gorgeous. And these two both set down and they both stay there until obviously you are eating or drinking, because they both have a satin finish. I think that they are so similar. So similar. So I'm just going to finish off by setting each side of my face. So on the drugstore side, I'm going in with the Catrice Multi-Talent Fixing Spray, which retails for about £4. And on the high-end side, I'm going in with the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Setting Spray, which retails for about £32. For some reason, my camera decided not to record this last part, but here is the finished look, and I have now gone about my day, and I will return in 10 hours for a check-in to see how the makeup has worn. But first, here is some daylight footage of the finished look. I'm back and it's been 10 hours since I last saw you, and since I last saw you I've had the busiest day. I've been out shopping in Dublin, which for me is just so stressful. So this is the drugstore side and I haven't topped up a thing. As you can see, I've not even topped up my lipstick today. So this is the drugstore side and this is the high-end side. And actually, I don't know whether I feel like this side's faded a little bit more than this side. Can you tell a difference? I think that drugstore companies have really upped their game. And yes, they are charging us more, but I think that you're getting really good value with some of the products. I mean, look at that foundation. Looks so good 10 hours in, and comparing it to that luxury foundation, I really don't think you can see a whole lot of difference. Concealer wise, I actually prefer the NYX side, genuinely do. I think it looks more hydrated. This looks fine, but it looks a little bit drier. I think that the eyeshadow has stayed looking great. I think both primers worked really well. Mascara, identical. The Lisa Eldridge and the Essence, there's no difference in the two of them. Can't fault either side. So that's it. Quite an interesting insight. And I guess this is just a lesson that we don't always have to pay those higher prices to get good quality products, because the drugstore is doing a phenomenal job too. Both sides are great, and I will continue to try both drugstore and high-end products and bring you my honest opinions in the coming year, and I'm really excited to do so. So let me know, what did you think about this test? Do you think that one side came out a little bit better than the other? Let me know everything down in the comments. I would love to hear your opinions. Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I so appreciate you being here with me. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next one. But until then, take care and bye for now.